QRAZ Radio.
Here we are.
102.7
We're here tonight.
Adrian, Missouri.
We got a viewer.
One viewer.
Hey,
I feel special. I feel incredibly special.
it tells us right there.
There it is.
So it's QRAZ Radio, 102.7 FM, and right here on Facebook and YouTube.
We're global, baby. We're here. We made it. We made the big time.
Yes, we're all over the damn place. and we jumped up to 4 people watching.
4. Wow.
So
The anticipation builds.
yes, we've got Doug here. That's what it is. It's the excitement of having the Doug.
Oh my
here.
goodness. I'm so humbled. And you know what I want to say before we get any further down the road, that we're really glad you're back in town. We're really glad you moved back.
I've been quiet so far.
You have been quiet,
I haven't caused any trouble.
but we're really glad you're back. And a lot of people are glad you're back. I'm sure your probation officer is glad you're back.
He keeps writing me
Yeah, I bet he does.
phone calls. It just won't go away. If you guys, I know you're watching. You got the chat window. You can ask questions. You can make comments. You can tell us if you can hear us all right or not.
Absolutely. All feedback greatly appreciated.
Our levels look good. So,
And I have to say to anybody who's watching or listening that this is quite the little place you got here.
we are not sound treated. And if I tap this table,
Similar to my head when I do that.
Yes.
The same sound. Yeah,
it's a little bit hollow, and it's okay.
absolutely.
Now, Doug is, what are you? Let's see. Bates County Live.
Bates County Live. Yeah.
Mid-America Live.
Mid-America Live, which Bates County Live grew into Mid-America Live.
Mid-America Shopper.
Mid-America Shopper.
After Hours Radio.
After Hours Radio, which is kind of just a weird thing I got into a while back.
And you didn't know it was going to take off, did you?
No. And for anybody who's listened, it's been a mismatch of a lot of different stuff. I
think that's why it's going.
Well, hopefully so. I was just thinking driving up here, though, I probably ought to standardize on something. And I was thinking about like science fiction, local science fiction things, local history, unsolved mysteries.
Ghost stories.
And there's a bunch of them out there.
You realize I have an empty seat at the table here.
Yes.
And I can put you into my software and you can do it from home.
From home to here.
From home to StreamYard to wherever. Right now it's on YouTube and Facebook.
Interesting.
Also, there's a plan.
Okay.
It's slow. It's a slow plan.
Okay.
This board is going to move over here.
Okay.
Where it'll give me a lot more than I can do here. Or this simple mixer I've been running.
Right.
It's doing what it does.
I see.
This will do that and that much more. And someday I'm going to write down what all these do.
Yes. Oh, little magic buttons.
Yes.
Love it.
And I've forgotten what they do. That one over there is labeled. It tells me what they do.
And you can pick what they do?
Yeah.
Cool.
I haven't messed with this one for a while.
So my question is, if I do it from home, do I have to wear clothes?
Just a shirt.
Just a shirt. Something from here up?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It just like network television.
Exactly.
You can be in the boxer shorts, a jacket, and tie.
As long as you look good from here up.
That's right. That's what the desk is for.
Absolutely.
But if I put you in here as a, you could be a producer or whatever. But
I see.
Essentially, you have everything I got except the ability to pay my damn bill. I got to work on that.
I'll leave that one with you.
Yeah. But you could come on, go live, and since it would be under your email address, any YouTube channel that's under your email and stuff, you can add that to the places you broadcast to.
Well, isn't that neat? Wow.
And we can let's have some fun while we're dicking around. Did I say that?
No, I don't think so.
It didn't.
I don't think I heard it.
You guys didn't hear that.
Hey, we have seven viewing now.
7
Check that out.
people. I should have put my glasses on. Well, there's stuff I can do here. That's all music and timers and
While you're doing that, I'm going to do a quick promo or a quick
do a
ID.
promo.
QRAZ 102.7, pumping more wattage to your cottage.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do that.
We're really putting it out there.
Really out there.
5 watts strong. What did I do? Did I lose it? How did I lose that?
Hey, 5 watts, will get you there. I mean, it'll surprise you. It'll
I got
surprise
all
you.
the way to Archie the other day.
That's good.
South is another story.
Now, when I lived down on the south end of town, on Snob Circle, as they call it, I had a little 100 milliwatt transmitter, and I made a little dipole antenna, and I could, with 1/10 of a watt, reach Main Street. And I was pretty impressed with that.
Yeah.
It's like, they could pick it up at Winfields, but after that, it was pretty well gone. But
somebody's talking to us.
All right.
Let's see. Well, I've heard of her. Nancy Mauger.
Not ringing a bell.
I've seen her around. I really should have got my. What did I do with them? Because there was some stuff I wanted to mess with.
You need to hire a full-time producer.
I really could use a producer. It's the time of year.
It is. Oh, fall leaves. Look at that.
Isn't that fun? There's some things you can do. It's also coming up on Halloween.
Then we have these little buttons over here.
Yep,
that is a lot of fun.
And this will tell us if we're centered in the screen right.
Oh, yep. Let me twist my head a little bit.
But I just wanted to kind of show you some of the
fancy schmancy, ladies and gentlemen. If you can see it from my perspective, it's fancy schmancy.
Got a guy named Sam on here.
Sam, not ringing any bells.
I've heard about him.
Oh, I've heard about him.
That somebody said he had cooties in his beard.
Yes. Yeah, he does.
That's what I heard.
So all my family's on here now. We're getting somewhere.
What I always get a kick out of, a few years back, your kids were small. We were out at the water plant. And one of them asked me about doing something with the water. And I said, you realize, he wanted to mess with it. I said, you realize that's toilet water. And his eyes got so big.
I think I remember this.
Yeah, I told you, I said, they just run it back through here.
Filter it and
pump it right back out.
Right.
And he's like,
yeah. I think he also didn't know that you could drink the water out of the back of the toilet, out of the bowl part in the back. What do you call that?
That's emergency water.
That's right. It is.
That's for emergencies.
So,
okay, folks.
Any more family members online yet? Well, what could we talk about that's interesting here? What could we kick around it?
Listen, you've got your hands in so much stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're doing it.
Well,
unless Nancy's actually the one doing it.
She's taking care of all the business. Yeah. She's pulling the strings.
Maybe we should have had her
working.
here. I could have set another mic up.
Yes. Actually, she should be here.
But what's next?
Well, the next thing is, as far as the news website and all that goes, we're going to start going more digital. Yeah. And it's going to be more video news and produce newscasts and that kind of thing.
Watch me be rude and walk off while Doug's talking.
Hey, I'll just pretend you're still there. But we do plan to do more news video, more podcasts, like News Minute and that type of thing. And we're going to be promoting that pretty heavily pretty soon here, it looks like. In fact, I've got studio envy. I'd like to set up a studio just like this one to do it from. The one I have now is well, not quite like this.
I was going to ask you, how fancy do you want to get?
Well, about this fancy. A mixer like that, and mics like this, and this kind of setup would be really, really good.
I've got some stuff I might be able to help you.
I'm sure you know a guy, huh?
I know a guy
Absolutely.
could maybe help you. And boy, do I have extra mics.
Yes, you do. This guy's got the biggest mic collection of anybody I've ever seen.
14.
14, and one of them might have been used by the Beach Boys. Is that right?
It was used by the Beach Boys. If we could call Bill and ask him, but
wow,
he could tell me what
that's
other
historical significance here in Adrian. It really is.
The reason that one kind of I used it the other day.
And it worked good.
Just it works.
So it's a 50-year-old mic.
It's like an SM58. You can't kill it.
Wow.
You could drive nails with that thing.
Wow.
So
something very similar to this, I think, is what we would. The other thing is, I want to do more streaming, like live event type stuff. Like
my problem is, I would love to be able to go out,
right,
and if I want to, I told you I have the baby brother to this one.
Mm-hmm.
I could take this laptop and I can hook up 4
go
mics
anywhere
and go any place as long as I got an internet connection.
Right.
But what I would really like to be able to do is go any place, do this, and
stream it back over there.
Come out and go over the air.
Absolutely.
Eventually, I'll figure that out.
You will figure that out.
It's just one of those. Oh, now we're going to have dogs help.
Hey, we got visitors.
Yeah. They never. The black one comes up here with me.
Well,
he'll come up and lay and sleep, and the white one never comes up. She don't like it up here.
Don't like it up here.
So what we got? There's Sharon Eubank.
Hey, I know Sharon Eubank, and I'm not related to her.
You're not?
No.
You want to be?
I might be. That's the funny part. I might be.
You'd
know. Be surprised who you're related to around these parts.
Guys, you can ask questions.
Yes. I might not give you a straight answer, but I'll ask a straight question.
Questions are free. Answers can be free.
They could be.
Correct answers might be a little more.
That's right.
You can also call us. In fact, I'll put the phone number up. There's the phone number. 520-373-0783. 520-373-0783.
I was thinking about the you asked about the future of things, the podcast thing, and the unsolved mysteries. We could chat about that a little bit.
Yeah.
There's some really, really interesting stuff around here that has never been resolved, so to speak.
Guy had over at Amsterdam that disappeared.
Well, David Cook. Yeah. And that's obviously a big one. And there were 3 murders in the 1980s right around here that all remain unsolved.
Well, and that's not unusual in a small community.
No. One of them that I'm thinking that, and these are 3 that I'm researching anyway. One of them was down by Foster, and I've pretty well determined it was a domestic deal, but it was very well covered up. Happened a couple miles west of town. There was another one that the Welch family down in Butler around 1980, 81, somewhere in that range. That one I'm still digging into. It was where I think it was Glenn Welch's wife was murdered and a neighbor man, and crickets. They did a big investigation. I think the FBI and all those people came in, nothing. And then one that's more dear to my heart than probably any of them was Janet Gail Simpson over at Amsterdam. And this is one that I have been working on. And that happened in 1985, I believe, in September of 85. And the interesting part about that one is I was over at their house a few weeks before that murder happened. And it turned out that Frank Simpson, it was Frank Simpson, Gail Simpson, and their daughter Stacy that all lived there near Amsterdam. And Gail is the one that got murdered, the mother. And over there a few weeks before, I did notice something a little off while we were there, but I couldn't really put my finger on it. I could sense there was some tension between the mother and the daughter, but I didn't really think about it at the time. Sure enough, a few weeks later, Mama shot 4 times to the head with a .22 rifle, and that was the rest of it. Oh, we got more people joining in here. We look old. Oh, you just wait, mister. Your day's coming, mister. Enjoy that hair you got there, mister.
I am old.
Well, but anyway, that's one I'm working on right now is the Janet Gail Simpson thing. And the daughter did get accused of it, and she pled out with something called the offered plea. You familiar with that? It's where everything indicates that you're guilty, but you just don't admit it. And anyway, that's probably going to be one of the ones coming up real soon. Is
no
the whole
contende.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I did it, but I'm not going to fight it.
Right. It's almost like pleading the fifth in a way. It really is. It's like all the evidence points to you, but
So
another great unsolved mystery from the Amsterdam area was the Ding Dong Man. And some of our watchers here might remember the Ding Dong Man. He was also known as the Nude Dude. Do you remember ever hearing anything about the Nude Dude?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Was that a Butler or Adrian?
Actually, more Amsterdam way. And what
for some reason that doesn't
surprise you at all. I know. You're thinking Amaret? No, Amsterdam. But anyway, back in the Merwin. Actually, he traveled that area between Amsterdam and Merwin. No kidding. The Nude Dude. And
some interesting things happened in Merwin.
Yeah, including that. Yeah. And nobody ever really knew who he was. I think I knew who he was, but I can't say. But it was kind of funny that this guy would just show up in the raw. You'd be driving home from a basketball game after something at school some night, and you'd see this naked guy run out across the field.
Well, he didn't like his clothes.
Obviously,
they were uncomfortable.
My sister saw him, and she saw his face. She said she knew who he was. Anyway,
I can't do that.
What? Go streaking?
Go stripping.
Would they pick you out of the lineup real quick?
The laughter.
Oh yeah.
I just can't.
I hear you. I hear you.
Take the laughter.
Hey, we get a phone call?
Yes.
Hot dog.
You're on the air.
What is your favorite?
What's that?
Hello.
Which favorite? Oh, which color is your favorite?
What color is my favorite? I'd have to say metallic blue.
You like blue?
I like blue. What do you like?
I like pink.
Pink. Okay, well that's good.
I always like navy blue.
Do people call you Scooter Baby?
Yeah.
No. I thought they did. You sound like a Scooter Baby.
Is this another mogger?
Yeah, it is.
What is? I don't know. Can't say it.
Can't say it?
Bye.
Bye.
No. Bye.
Love you.
I love you.
Sharon Eubank says, I do remember the Nude Dude. She couldn't catch him. Do you think she was trying very hard?
Were you chasing him? Sharon, were you trying to catch him?
Here's the interesting part. He was doing this in the wintertime.
Oh.
I mean, he did in the summer too, but he would often show up on the coldest nights of the year.
I should say there's about a 7 to 15 second delay.
Okay.
Between us saying it and them hearing it.
Okay.
And then there's another delay when they type it and us seeing it. So sometimes you ask a question, you think you're being ignored.
Right.
You're not being, well, you might be,
but yeah.
Let me show you.
I get that a lot, actually.
Let me show you another little feature on here. If I hover over this one, you see that star where the mouse is?
Yes.
I do that. Now we have a starred comment.
I see.
So I can come back to it later and then show it.
Dale is all high tech, ladies and gentlemen. This guy is on it. CNN would be interested to see what's in this room. I promise you.
All right. There's a sore subject for you. CNN. Have you seen what they're doing?
No. I ignore them like the plague.
Well, they've actually started reporting real news.
You're kidding.
And they've been all over Tulsi Gabbard.
Oh, I'm sure.
They're on YouTube.
I'm sure.
They're playing dirty. Them and
MSNBC?
MSNBC and one of the CBS affiliates. They put it up like it's a live show.
Okay.
Put it on a loop.
Okay.
So it's constantly at the top of the list.
Right.
And you click on it, and it's just the same thing over and over and over.
Oh my.
It's like, guys, I'm glad you decided to report news instead of making your own up.
True. Very true.
But just do it right. Just play fair, play by
Right.
the rules. You know,
Well, thanks for telling me that, because I don't think I've looked at CNN for 2 or 3 years, to be honest with you.
don't do it
If
now.
I could avoid it. Don't start now. Okay.
It's just, they don't know how to play.
I'm sure.
I'm worried about Sharon.
Think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that can't be true. She's cute as a button.
Yeah.
There's no way that could be true.
You're getting
That's
older.
true.
You're slowing down. That's what the problem is. I have to be nice to her. She's one of the few people that's older than me.
Yeah.
By a year and a half.
Oh my.
She'll probably hurt me for saying it.
She probably will. You step outside in the dark tonight and you're going to feel some pain somewhere.
Look at that. We're still sitting at 7. The trick is you hardly ever get a lot of views during the live show.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I told Ryan, because I think we had 6
Right.
during the live show. By the next afternoon, we had 160.
Yes.
And 160 in Adrian.
That's pretty good.
That's
really good, actually.
And Lyle came, and we had like 3-4 people. By the next afternoon, we were over 100.
Wow.
And that was just talking about Adrian Community Theater.
Nice.
And I'm going to say this. Adrian's my adopted home.
It is. It is.
I grew up at Main City. So
Right.
went to school in Archie.
Right.
Hung out in Drexel a lot.
Right.
Screwed up and married a gal from Adrian. That was a long time ago. But Adrian amazes me. The Optimist Club.
Mm-hmm.
The Antique Tractor. I don't think the Elks Lodge is doing a lot right now.
Right.
The Lions Club. The Chamber at times has done some great things.
They have.
I actually had the privilege of sitting on the Chamber board when with Steve Hubbard.
Mm-hmm.
If I ever get him behind its chair.
Yeah, he's one you need to bring in here.
But we were the group that got the Business Expo thing started.
Yes.
And we were scared to death we weren't going to rent spaces. And we
filled them out.
Yes. And the next year we got more room.
Yes.
And sold out again.
Yes.
We had people outside. You know, we couldn't, that thing took off.
It did.
Like it had a life.
Have they had one recently? I'm trying to think.
They did. They
Maybe
had
before
one this year.
COVID, right?
They did have one this year.
They did. Okay.
So,
well, I want to pay kudos to the Adrian City Council and Mayor. I've been following news up here for a while, and nothing against anybody who was formerly on the council or in any of those positions. But I want to say right now, I think Matt Cunningham. I think all of them.
When I was in business here,
mm-hmm.
there were some issues with a couple of the mayors and some of the city council, and we may have had words on Main Street a time or two.
Right. Right.
This council and mayor are doing a hell of a job.
Absolutely.
I can't fault them.
No.
I talked to about some things. Ryan impresses me.
Mm-hmm.
You stop in, he'll take time to talk to you if he's got the time.
Sure.
They're wanting to do some stuff,
and he's got a pretty good looking resume too.
Yeah,
he really does.
And we're going to be seeing some changes. They're actually finally going to have electronic bill pay.
Yes.
After the first of the year.
Yep.
And I asked him, I said, I wanted to go to the council meeting. It's right now.
Exactly.
Can't be there.
Right.
So I asked him, I said, are you guys going to stream that? And he said, we're not set up for that now.
Mm-hmm.
But next year, we plan on having that set up. And
He's very technically minded.
And I'm not the smartest guy in the world because I said, well, if you need any help with it,
Yeah, call me.
yeah, I'll send Doug down.
Yeah, I'll call Dale.
Yeah.
No, Ryan is he's also working on some grants, like over $700,000 worth of grants,
Yeah.
from what I understand. It's
Yeah.
really going to be good.
We had in the past, we had one city manager that was really good about getting 50-50 grants.
Mm-hmm.
And he said something about grants when I was talking to him the other day. And I said, are they 50-50 grants? He said, they're 80-20.
Yeah.
80-20 grants are great.
Oh, they're awesome.
50-50
awesome.
grants, you can't do it and just say, well, I got a grant to put in a sidewalk or we don't need one.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Exactly.
and that's kind of what was going on at that
Exactly.
time. Oh, we're going to spend $140 million on a matching grant to put in 2 blocks of sidewalk. Where? And they tell you, it's like,
yeah,
nobody walks there. You know,
yeah,
you're going to cut up somebody's yard.
sure. And you know, it's a lot easier to come up with 20% than it is the 50% too.
Oh, no kidding.
In terms of goals.
But,
and
there's been some house cleaning going on down there. So
yeah, and I have to say the city council, in my opinion, like I said, I started really getting involved in the council meetings here when the Adrian Manor thing was all going down.
Yeah.
And you know, and I realized that was a mess that started in the back in the 70s that these guys just had to clean up in a way. You know, I mean, that was purchased back in the 70s and the city had owned it all this time. And I realized that it presented some challenges over the years where they couldn't sell it. And they finally got to a point where they realized they needed to. And these guys had a mess on their hands. So I started really following it right around that time closely. And again, I see a huge contrast and just all across the board and code enforcement and everything. This town's really coming around. I'd move back here. You want to sell your house? I just want this room. You can have the rest of the house. I just want this room.
You want this?
I want this room right here.
Listen, you got free use. Anytime you want to come up here and screw around.
Yeah. QRAZ. I can have a lot of fun with this, you know.
Got a radio station sitting right here.
I see it. I see it right
even
there.
put you a mic on that you don't have to crank the gain on.
I don't have to yell.
I've actually got some inline boosters
for the radio. Oh, for the
mics.
I got you.
Need them. Some of these mics are serious.
Need a little gain.
This thing's got 70 dB of gain on the mic amps.
Mm-hmm.
That one's got 72.
And that little bit helps a lot. You just need more. Is what you're saying.
Sometimes on some of those Shure mics are gain hungry. There we go. I can control the volume.
He's all fancy, folks. You wouldn't believe this.
Tone.
I think he's entering his pin right now.
And compression and DS right here.
Wow. That's fancy.
All built in. That one's got it too. They name it a little different, does the same thing. I've got a compressor de-esser, old rack mount sitting in the closet. Do you need one?
No, but I was going to ask you, do you think you'd benefit from running one on your transmitter?
Well, if this setup, I might. When I move over to this, I've got it already.
Okay.
It's built into the.
That's right. It's already built into that one.
So.
Yeah, a little compression sure helps with keeping your level out there.
This one runs a TRRS cable to the phone, which you just saw works.
Mm-hmm.
The other one will do that, or it'll do Bluetooth.
Nice.
This one I have to buy a module if I want to do Bluetooth, and then I lose the TRS. That one I can use Bluetooth and the TRS and have 2 phones connected.
And be totally connected.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we've got a hell of a setup for.
You do.
The attic.
Yeah. I'm totally envious, folks. I can't believe this place. This is just totally awesome. This is like Doc's garage in Back to the Future with all that neat stuff he had, all that stuff.
Well, we're trying to break in. We're trying to get people
sure
to realize, I have to ask people to come beyond here. Eventually, I would like to see it where they call me
I was going to say that day could very easily come. I mean,
and say, "Hey, can we be on your show?"
absolutely.
And honestly, since I'm putting it over the air at the same time, we can't sell sponsorship.
Correct.
I can accept underwriting.
Okay.
If it wouldn't be a commercial, but I could come on and say, this portion of the program has been underwritten by Bates County Live.
There you go. See?
That's
We need to
not
work on that.
That's not a commercial.
Very clever. And by the way, you know, this thing with Russia's heating up right now. Just I looked up an old law that's still in the books. During wartime, you can run really any size transmitter you want without a license during wartime.
During wartime.
During wartime.
The last time we declared war was World War II. We have not had a declared war.
Absolutely, that's true. Come to think of it, we haven't had anything like that. Hopefully we don't.
And Bill Clinton was president the last time we had a budget.
Wow.
We have not had a budget. We've had spending bills, which they just keep extending and changing. And if you got a budget, they kind of expect you to adhere to it.
Mm-hmm. Throwing all of our future generations into more debt.
My grandkids, my great grandkids, I've got great grandkids, 9. Oh my, 1 on the way.
Wow. Congratulations.
They're in debt.
Oh, yeah.
They're not born yet, and they're in debt.
Yeah.
So
I've been meaning to look up a number. It's just you mentioned that. When I was in high school, we did a little project, and the debt that each person had on them in the United States was $147,000 per person.
Yeah.
It's much more than that now. That was back in the 80s. So I wonder what it is now. It's got to be huge.
I'm scared to look up.
Can't imagine.
Nancy thinks we should be underwritten by Mid-America Live.
Yeah, okay. I'll do that.
I think we should be doing after hours radio.
After hours radio. That's you know what, that would work. In fact, that could work really, really well. I'll just from home in my shirt and nothing else, I'll stream it up here, and you can just broadcast it, beam it out from here. See?
Yeah. There ought to be a way to do that.
There ought to be a way to do that. I bet you. Oh, we got the super fast Osage Valley internet down there, down in the old home place, down in the land of no cell service. But by golly, we got lightning fast internet. It's really good.
I've got the low end fiber. I got 50 by 50.
Mm-hmm.
To do this, they say you can do it with 4.
Okay.
4 megabits. It's a whole lot better with 10.
I'm sure.
And if I don't do a lot of the fancy schmancy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So if I started doing some of that, then I'd be up to like needing 25 to 30. I've done this on a Chromebook with a guest.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried doing some of the stuff like I did. Hi, Rebecca. A while ago with the bats and the witches and all that stuff. The Chromebook slowed down to a crawl. And I thought, oh, this is going to look ugly.
Yeah.
I got home and I went and sat down and watched it. I always sit down and watch it afterwards.
Right.
What did I screw up? How bad was my audio? It went out fine. The signal was going out. It was my Chromebook wasn't keeping up.
Okay.
Still got the Chromebook. Somebody hit the like button. Come on, guys. Hit the like button. Like and subscribe.
Yes, like and subscribe.
It helps the channel. I don't care if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube or what. Like and subscribe.
I have some comments here. Amsterdam is the best.
Yeah. You know who that
we
is.
might want Amaret to check in real quick. Just to see what they think.
There's
Rebecca. Rebecca, you must be related to her. Hi, Uncle Dale. You're everybody's uncle, though, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're that favorite uncle that everybody likes.
Well, this started years ago. I've got so many nieces. And then my previous wife
Right.
had so many nieces. So every time I turned around, somebody was going, Uncle Dale,
Uncle Dale. Yeah.
Uncle Dale. So, Vicki, I can't do advertising. I can do underwriting.
Yes. Keywords underwriting. I got to look more into that and see how really that works.
Yeah.
You know, I think last time you and I talked down there in Butler, we talked about a not-for-profit, what do they call that? Low power FM.
Yeah.
And that's probably
they're not giving out any licenses.
not even for those.
If you're a college,
we could start a college. Adrian University.
We could start a tech school.
There you go.
I don't know what we're going to teach them.
Well, how about broadcasting?
Yeah, I know so much about that.
You know more than I do.
I,
You got this set up. This is really cool.
I've had an angel. Bill, I don't know if you're going to watch this or not. Yes, I did, but Rebecca, I worked with your husband back in the day in that dreadful place that we won't mention.
I was going to say, was it a chain gang or what was it?
Time Warner.
Oh.
Internet services.
Yeah.
I actually set a box up to monitor their entire network. And for 2 years, I said, let me show somebody how to do this.
Mm-hmm.
They never had time. We can't afford to put somebody on that for you to train them.
After all that. Wow.
And I got hired by a VP, which kind of aggravated some people. I didn't get hired by the department manager. The VP hired me.
I see.
To help do some training. And I stayed on and I told him, because he'd come in from New Jersey. And he said, when everything's working, I'm going home. And I told him, I said, you leave, I gone. He told me one day, he says, 2 weeks, I go back to New Jersey. I said, I start vacation Monday morning for 2 weeks. That works just fine. I'll go tonight and hand in my 2-week notice. So
that was it, huh?
He left, I left.
Wow.
I am not geared right for the corporate world.
Me either. And I've tried. For all these years, I've tried to meld with that, and it's just not my thing. It's really not.
They don't like being told the truth.
Well, I'm sure that's true.
I used to get can you do this? Well, yes, but it's not legal.
Yeah.
But we didn't ask you how you would do it. We asked if you could do it.
If you could do it, right.
And the answer was yes. And if you want me to do it, put it in writing.
Yeah. That way.
Oh.
What you got there?
We've gone international.
We have.
We have gone international.
Italy, Spain, Germany, Russia.
Thailand.
George
Bowman.
Who's that?
He's an Adrianite.
George, well, welcome aboard, George. That is just really cool.
George's Pizza.
I see.
He married a gal over there. And I love his story on the pizza. He wanted American pizza. So
in Thailand.
So he made a pizza oven.
Okay.
His wife says, I'm going to take some of this to town to see if people eat it. All of a sudden, he's got a pizza restaurant. People come from all over. George, I think you're only open, 3 days a week? And he's got a YouTube channel. Looks like a resort. It's all
amazing.
Open air. And
so was nobody else selling pizza in Thailand before or not doing it like him? Huh?
American pizza.
American pizza.
He's got military officers coming. He's got people coming in from Germany to eat.
That's really neat. That is really neat.
George just keeps telling me he's going to get fiber and be able to join us. I can send an invite on this if you've got a decent internet connection. You click link, answer a couple of questions. and you join in with your camera and your mic
In Thailand or wherever.
anywhere. And I can bring you on. I can bring up to 10 people on the screen. That gets a little crowded.
Sure.
I've only done 3 at a time, but I can do up to 10.
Hmm.
And
Well, you mentioned the Beach Boys microphone a while ago.
yeah,
And that made me think of something that's really cool. I was down in Tupelo, Mississippi several years ago, and I'm working at a water plant in Tupelo, Mississippi. And the night operator's there, and we're just talking while I'm doing my work. And he had this picture sitting there on his desk, and it was a picture of Elvis Presley and this other guy. And I said, wow, that's kind of neat. He goes, well, that's my dad with Elvis Presley. And I said, well, that's just pretty neat. He goes, well, yeah, my dad grew up with Elvis Presley, and he showed me a picture of when they were little bitty kids. And when Elvis lived in that little 2-room shotgun shack they always talk about, there were 3 or 4 little neighborhood kids that grew up with him there. And this guy's dad was one of them. And I thought, well, he's blowing smoke at me, whatever. Well, the next morning he comes in with this scrapbook, and what was really cool about that scrapbook was there were pictures in there that nobody else had ever seen. Pictures the inside of Graceland, all kinds of stuff. Anyway, so this turned out that since they'd grown up together when they were older, Elvis would invite that guy's dad and this guy, his family, out there to a show in Vegas every year, and he flew him out there and everything. And it was so cool seeing all these pictures and all this inside information that the world had never seen about Elvis Presley. And in fact, he didn't have them there, but he said he had some tape recordings of him and his dad and Elvis talking about different things. Elvis had a motorcycle that he wouldn't let anybody ride, but he let this guy's dad ride it. Are you still there? There we go. Check, testing 1, 2. Check. New microphone.
Now you're talking on the Beach Boys mic.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking on a microphone right now that we believe the Beach Boys sang on. That is beyond words. That is really cool.
Yeah, Bill swears that they did like 2-3 sessions on it.
That is amazing. That is amazing.
And there are other bands too. And honestly, when he said Beach Boys, I kind of stalled, and I don't remember what other bands he said.
Hey, who cares? It's the Beach Boys.
So
that's some neat history. Wow. Yeah, this guy had pictures inside of Elvis's house that under certain circumstances like Christmas and things that nobody had ever seen. It was just so totally cool. I had to ask him if he could send me some of those. He was going to put those on MP3 files or whatever and send them up sometime. I need to ask him about that. Might be kind of valuable.
Well, don't tell me you're calling. Call. The phone's right here.
One ringy dingy, 2 ringy dingies.
So, but I thought you would get a kick out of being on a Beach Boy mic.
Yeah, that is cool. This is a historical moment right here.
Yeah.
I never would have guessed this.
Bill's looking at he's got multiple radio stations, and he's looking at one down by Lebanon,
Right.
and he's also been looking at another one
in the neighborhood
somewhere around here.
Yeah.
If I told you the name of it, you would know.
I'd have to rack my brain. What could that be? George, who has the largest farms around Adrian? Did you see that? We got a message there.
Largest farms.
Well, that would be.
Ferguson's one.
Yeah. Cox.
Yeah.
Trying to think who else right around here. Go a little further south. You got the McElwains.
Yeah.
Trying to see some comments here real quick.
There used to be so many small farms.
Well, people could make a living doing it.
Yeah. When I was growing up, we were a dairy farm. Are you tired of holding that?
No, actually, I'm proud to hold this one.
Okay. But we were milking 25 head. Then it was 30 head.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was 50 head. By the time I was in high school, we were milking over 100 head of cattle. Now,
2 times a day, right?
back then, that was a big farm.
Oh,
And now they're milking thousands. Milkers never stop.
oh yeah.
And I've seen some of DeKalb stuff with the carousel. The cows,
A cow carousel.
they come in, they step up on this platform, and it's a big carousel that's slowly rotating. Milkers go on automatically.
Hmm.
It automatically measures the milk, measures the feed. If they need a shot, it gives them a shot.
Has to cost a fortune.
And by
You
the
think?
time the cow gets around to the other side, the milker comes off, the udder gets washed, cow gets off.
Out the door. Fully automated.
Yeah.
So I
We-
guess no humans would have to even be in that room, right? I
And
mean,
there's a guy sits in a huge control room.
it just watches.
And yeah,
Oh,
he's
good
there
Lord.
if anything goes wrong.
Hmm.
But he's watching. He can tell you at any time how much milk this cow's given. Does it need a shot? Does it need treated for this? You know,
Amazing.
we were thrilled when we got a pipeline.
Exactly.
5 stanchions and 4 milkers.
Sure.
Had a horseshoe. They came in one door,
Mhm.
went around, and went out.
My aunt and uncle had to set up you put this strap over the cow's back and this big brown stainless steel thing under there, and it was quite the beast.
Yeah.
And all the milk went in that thing. It wasn't sucked down a pipe somewhere. It went in that thing.
Went in that bucket.
Yeah. And
a 5-gallon bucket.
and they later upgraded to something that was the regular milkers that go on that suck it down the pipe, put it in the tank.
You had to upgrade to the pipeline
Absolutely.
if you wanted to stay grade A.
Oh, you had to.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was-
okay.
if you wanted to be grade A, you had to go to a bulk tank. Cans had to go.
Gotcha.
I missed that can cooler. We kept watermelons in there and the occasional black snake. And
Oh, yeah, yeah.
black snakes in that can cooler.
Huh.
You'd reach in there and pick it up. They're stiff as a board.
Yeah, they could. That's right.
I'd
It'd
lay
be
them in the
cold.
sun.
Yeah. Wow.
And it was, it wasn't that cold. It was an evaporative cooler.
Right. It wouldn't be terribly cold. Yeah.
And so it was in the 40s.
Still enough to make a snake go to sleep.
I can tell you, a Bush Bavarian in a steel can on a hot summer's day tasted awful good.
I bet it did. I bet it did. The thing I remember about my aunt and uncle's dairy farm was I was the chosen one to clean out the grain bins, and rats were the thing. Rats.
Yes.
It didn't matter how tight I wore my jeans around my boots. A rat would inevitably get up in there somehow and start crawling at my
I
leg.
always wore cowboy boots.
Yeah.
And I got into one of those bins one day. It was clean out time. And propped that door open. Got in there and was shoveling probably corn.
Right.
It could have been, back then, it could have been oats, or because nobody raises oats anymore.
Nobody does oats or Milo or anything like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Soybeans.
Yeah.
But wind blew. My prop on the door fell, and that door slammed shut. Boy, did it get dark in there.
I bet it did.
And you just stand there hoping somebody would come by and open the door for you. Bang the side of it with the shovel for a while, and then smack the ground where you think the rats are.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I probably was in there 30 minutes before somebody, hey. wait
Was
a
it getting warm in there? Or
It
was
was-
that
it
time of
was-
the year?
minute. It was spring,
Okay.
and we were doing cleanup.
Yeah.
So, the sun was shining on it. And
Warming up pretty quick.
yeah,
The thing I remember was the rats, you think you were down to a couple of inches of corn or less, and they could still hide in there.
I don't know how they do that.
I don't know how they do it either.
Those
They lay
big old
flat. I
rats.
think they lay really, really flat, and they put their little legs out or
And
something. But
we had cats. Every milk barn had cats.
oh yeah,
And,
big fat cats, by the way.
Oh yeah, and they got colostrum milk. They got
Oh yeah, got it all. Cream.
mice.
Yeah.
We always had one old mama cat that stayed in the milk barn.
Yep.
And she would go. We had a feed bunker up in the attic. You move that trap door so you could get up there to check stuff. You better be ready because she was going up.
Oh, I'm sure.
There are mice up there.
I was going to say there's probably a whole buffet up there.
And when she had kittens, she would cripple the mice and drop them. But we had one phone call.
We did have one phone call. And we've trickled down to how many? Well, we got 8 people now.
Yep.
And 4 likes, 4 thumbs up.
So if you want to call, get it in here, 520-373-0783.
I was trying to read some of the comments here.
Vicky wants you to sing.
Oh, not happening. Not happening.
So
can't do any Brian Wilson. He's a little too high for me. Well, and that's a bad excuse because I really can't sing at all. When I sing, they ask me if I can sing tenor, 10 or 12 miles from here.
Yeah. I used to sing bass and I've blown my voice out.
Oh wow. I've never really done it. I've just never really done it.
I had too many years of cigarettes and foolishness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that stuff catches up with you, unfortunately.
Well, guys, what do you got to say?
I was thinking of other unsolved mysteries, and some of our watcher listeners might remember this, was the cattle mutilations over by Amsterdam back in the 70s.
I remember that.
Well,
I was here for the first half of the 70s. I got out of the Army in 72, and I lived in Adrian.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went down to Monette. Worked down there.
Monette. Better than less net? Monette?
Yeah.
Monette, anyway.
Interesting town.
Never been there. I don't think I've ever been to Monette.
Just south of Sarcoxy.
Don't even know where that's at. Keep going. Maybe you hit one that I know.
Cassville.
Okay, Cassville, down south.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, yeah. Cassville, that's down where the state park's at.
They've got Monette's got one of the, or back then, don't know now. They had a cheese plant. They had a place that made aluminum doors and windows.
Mm-hmm.
They had one of the biggest and nicest casket factories.
Yes, I think I heard about that.
Yeah. So
I think I remember that.
So I was working a job. I was in there about 2 years. And I said, job was supposed to be a 2-year job.
Mm-hmm.
And we were coming up on being done. And I said, boy, my old truck needs to be replaced, but I can't replace it if we're wrapping this job up.
Right.
And they said, we're going to be here another 2 years.
Time for a new truck. Did you get a truck?
Yeah. So I said, okay, I'll buy a truck. I bought a truck. Job closed.
That's my kind of luck there.
And it's like, you said 2 more years. Well, contract didn't go.
Yeah. So what'd you do then?
Well, I worked for a couple of months in that aluminum storm door place. Electrostatic coating window frames and storm door frames.
Okay.
Do not reach in the cage. 250,000 volts of static electricity.
Oh, wow.
If you do it, you'll only do it once.
I was going to say, Grandma used to tell me, don't touch that stove. Well, I had to do it one time.
Yeah. But it wasn't a hard job. It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
It was all these doors and windows came down and you hung them on these hooks. You had to wear cotton gloves so you didn't get
right
oil on them. It went into this chamber where the static charge was. This thing spray painted them. It was hotter than hell in that chamber. And they came out the other end dry. It was that electric static coating, the paint is such a fine mist. it actually bonds with the metal. And when it came out the other end, it was dry. And the guys at the other end were taking them off and stacking them over here. And I was pulling them off and hanging them. I did see one guy, and they told you if one falls, forget it. Let it lay there. If it falls and blocks things up, hit the emergency stop and wait.
But if other than that, let it lay there.
And I saw one guy had one that apparently didn't get on the hook quite right, or it got bumped, or it fell, and it fell right into that static. And this guy just reached in and grabbed it, knocked him.
I bet it did.
It didn't, it's all static. There's no amperage.
But enough to light you up.
Oh, man.
Probably like grabbing a coal wire off a car or something, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, my grandfather had the ability to not feel electric shock. He had an old B. John Deere with a magneto on it, and I was a little bitty kid. He would always find a new victim that came out to his place. He'd say, "Hey, I'm going to show you my old B. John Deere tractor." And he would walk out there, and he had to start it by doing the flywheel. He spun the flywheel, and as soon as it started popping, his old Johnny Popper, he'd reach over and take his hand and pull the boot back on the spark plug, and you could hear it popping in his hand. It didn't bother him at all. And then he'd reach over and touch you on the shoulder.
We had a maintenance guy when I was stationed on that island, and they periodically come through, and some of the equipment was kind of touchy.
Mm-hmm.
And they would routinely pull fuses out and put new ones in, just because they could control when it went down.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
And they knew that this fuse is going to last 6 months and then it's going to blow. So at 5 months, they just pull that fuse out, throw it away. And there was one of the old Air Force sergeants. He was finishing up his time. This was his last tour. He had a wooden leg from the knee down. And back then, now that you can stay in. Back then, normally you have to get out, but he was like 6 months from. So they let him stay in. You couldn't tell it. You couldn't see when he walked and everything. He was really good with it. But he'd bring in a new rookie to train. And he said, "Let me show you how to check these fuses."
I gotta guess where this is gonna go.
And he would take 2 fingers and go like this, lick his fingers, and he says, "And now you just stick your fingers up there and put it on each end of that fuse."
All right.
What they didn't notice was he was lifting one leg.
Yeah, he's still standing on the wooden leg.
He's standing on that wooden leg. And he'd say, "Now you try it."
Yeah.
And then it was
not.
Like, "You dumbass, you know better than that." They told you better than that in school.
Sure. There's got to be a trick to this.
We would send guys over to get QRM eliminators and QRN eliminators. And you're an old radio guy. QRM's man-made interference.
Yeah, I'm trying to think exactly what that is. QRM. That's a
man-made interference.
With what though? Electrical
signal.
Is it just a generated noise or just electrical noise?
It's signal noise.
Okay.
QRN is natural.
Okay.
Can be done by atmospherics. And we were up where the aurora was around and stuff. And we had a lot of QRN. We'd send guys over to the other ops building to get us a QRN eliminator. And those guys had this thing rigged up with resistors and coils, and
it looked like something.
It looked important. It didn't do anything. And we'd send them over there, and "We're here for a QRN eliminator." "Okay, but you got to sign this out." And they had
to make it sound legit.
And they had a form all printed up. "You got to sign this out, and if you don't bring it back, we're going to charge you for it." It was junk. It was junk. But if you plugged it in, it lit up.
Okay.
And they'd bring it back over, and you go, "I sent you over there for a QRN eliminator. You brought me a QRM eliminator." Now we're talking 25 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
wind anywhere from 40 to 90 miles an hour, and about 200 yards between the two buildings. And get all bundled.
You'd send him back over there.
Yeah. We'd pull pranks on new guys like that. We sent one guy, told him, said, okay, you're new, but so it's your turn. The donut's coming tonight. Donut truck will be here.
Oh, the donut truck.
So what we want you to do, a new kid, go around and get everybody's order. And I said, they only got like 3 or 4 kinds. So just go around and ask everybody. And they're a quarter a piece coming out of the mess hall. They do this about once a week. And this guy would get a legal pad and he'd go around, write down names. The guys would give him a quarter and, 50 cents, And the deal is if the truck don't show up and you got to come back and give these guys all back their money.
Of course,
So
of course.
write down what you got. And we'd send him out to stand outside and wait for this truck.
This truck that never came, or did it really come?
We did this one guy. He went out and was standing out there. Wind wasn't bad. We wouldn't do it if it was horrible out.
Well, yeah.
He's standing out there in his parka, and it's cold. Officer of the guard comes by, and he says, what the hell are you doing? He said, I'm waiting for the donut truck. What? I'm waiting for the donut. We didn't know it, but the officer of the guard had already been by the mess hall. They were actually making donuts that day.
Aha.
He said, get in the truck. He went to the mess hall and he took him in and said, how many donuts have you got to order? And he says, I need like 25 donuts or something like that.
Okay.
He said, well, there's only one kind of donut, but we're going to get you 25 donuts. He got the mess hall to box him up all these donuts. And he says, you keep the money.
Would they have been free anyway?
He came back and brought donuts.
Oh, he brought them. Oh.
Everybody's going, where the hell did he get?
He pulled it off. That's what he did.
Yeah. So we quit sending guys out for the donuts.
I can see that. I can see that.
It's interesting. Anything?
Oh, I was just kind of looking over there. Interestingly, Jake, my son, he does a little radio program over at UCM. Wednesday nights 6 to 7 and Saturdays noon to 1. You can listen to it online. Another thing going on tonight besides the council meeting and this. And yeah. I listened to him a little bit coming up here. He sounds really good. He sounds a lot better than the old man. Really.
Yeah. Let's see. There's Renee Barclift. I don't know Renee. So she must be.
I know nothing of
Rebecca's
this
sister or something.
show.
Dorothy. Hi, Dorothy. Let's see, you're in there now. Jake.
One thing I started to mention about the cattle mutilations over there, and like I said, I'm going to do a after hours on this, but one interesting thing about it is the vet that went out there and looked at that, both of those instances, one up by Merwin and one over by Amsterdam, these cows were missing parts and there was no blood or anything anywhere. Nothing. And he was pretty spooked by it. People asked him questions about what he thought. And he says, you know what? I don't think it was from around here. I don't think it was from this earth.
Yeah.
And because everybody thought, well, it was some kind of weird cult out there doing this. But I've actually got one person that can give me some information about that. We'll work on that here in the next couple of weeks. I think it'd be real interesting.
Well, now you've seen the setup.
Yes.
There's stuff that we could do here.
There's a lot of stuff we could do here. How many microphones? 19? How many you got?
I got 13 microphones.
13 microphones. We could bring in, 11 more people?
We'd have to bring in, I could put 10 people on camera, but I can only get 2 cameras going. But
that's all right.
I have different cameras than this.
That's actually a pretty cool camera, though.
This one it does okay, and it's so handy for just 2 people.
Sure, straight across like this.
I've got a regular. What did I do with it? Camcorder that will plug in, and I can use it
move around.
I could put in on a tripod
Absolutely.
or whatever, and we could shoot the whole room.
Absolutely.
And then put a mic in front of each person, give them a handheld. I've got 2, 3, 4, 5 handhelds.
Well, we need to invite some friends over. What are you having for dinner next Wednesday?
I don't know. Linda, are you listening?
Jake just put a note up here, ucmbeat.com. Yeah, if you want to listen to Jake, ucmbeat.com. Wednesdays at 6, Saturdays at noon, I believe.
Well, you just got the word out to 7 people.
Wow. We are mowing them down tonight.
Yeah, no kidding.
Wow. But like you said,
Well, and since it's my page, I come back and look at it, tell me how many people saw it, how many watched how long, when they watched. Our demographics for this page
yes,
is about 60-30, 60% women, 30% men.
I'm good with that.
That's only 90%. There's 10%.
Oh, yeah, our numbers don't. Yeah, I didn't think.
We don't know what the other 10% are.
That's something else too. I see those kind of percentages all the time. It's like they never add up to 100. What's up with that?
Yeah.
The election polls. What didn't add up to 100? What's up with that?
But the biggest majority of them are in the 55 plus group. We also have people from, I posted the other day, we've got people in places I never heard of watching this. Now, I know George is out there in Thailand, so that one didn't surprise me.
But where
and
else?
We got a lot of Arizona because I actually started this in Arizona. And Adrian's been slowly growing.
Oh, I'm sure.
On the number of people that watch it. But we got like Costa Rica, South Africa.
It's interesting, and you don't know where they're coming from.
No.
Do you think they're related to somebody that knows somebody here or anything like that, or just somebody out browsing?
All it tells me is a country.
Well, it's funny you say that because on Mid-America Live, we can see stats of regions like that where people are, hitting our website from.
Yeah.
And we've got regulars in Germany. We got regulars literally in every country out there. And it's just amazing to me that somebody knows somebody that lives here, that knows somebody that lives in, Bangladesh. I mean,
I did internet radio before it got so
pain
in the ass.
Right.
I ran my own server running Shoutcast. And during the first time we were in Kuwait, back in the 90s.
I was going to say, yeah.
And I was doing an internet radio station, and it was probably more eclectic than this. This I run almost, I'd pop in once in a while and switch up. Like when you got here, it was running Hank Williams scene.
Right.
But mostly rock. And that one I was running old rock, old country, just about a 50-50 mix. And I was getting some stuff, but it didn't give you a lot of information on who was listening, how many were listening.
You say you couldn't get that?
It was running on my server on Shoutcast. And I could see that there's 5 people listening now, and then there's 10 listening now.
But nothing more than that, really.
That's all I got. And I went on one day, and I had a page for that. And I went on and announced it. I think I'm going to shut this down. I don't think anybody's listening. I had one old gal, probably my age, in Asheville that listened to it religiously. And I knew I'd hear for her. But I started getting emails because I had an email address posted for it. Just like I've got QRAZradio@gmail.com.
QRAZ. Go ahead.
But I started getting emails from soldiers in Iraq and in Kuwait. It's like, don't take it down. You're in Kansas City. We feel like we're home. We all know this music. And
wow. That's pretty cool.
I did that. And then in the next 5 days, I had 30 emails from servicemen that were in the desert and saying, we listen to you all the time,
What an honor. Wow, that is really neat.
So I kept it up until, I kept it up until we moved down to Adrian.
Hmm.
So, and then of course out there I couldn't get anything but satellite internet. And that's not even a joke. It's just,
Oh, it's terrible.
and I had an awful time here in Adrian with AT&T because in Lee Summit I had business internet, 5 static IPs. Down here I said I wanted business internet, 5 static IPs. And they,
Can't do.
we don't know how to do that.
No can do.
And I said, well, you're AT&T. You did it in Lee Summit. And they finally said, well, we don't think we offer it in Adrian. You know, business class.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, who knows? You know, who can I talk to? And they said, well, we'll get back to you. You know how that works.
Did they?
No. But I had a modem die, and I called, and whoever had been doing it here had retired, and they were sending a guy from the city down here until they got somebody else. And he come by the shop with a new modem for me, and this was business class. They finally figured out, and he come in, and he said, I know you. And I said, well, yeah, you do. I was one of the first customers with DSL in Lee Summit, and they had set me up this special setup.
So,
because they were trying to test what they could and couldn't do.
mm-hmm.
And since I was a computer guy, they thought I was a good guinea pig. Well, he come in, it was cold and it was raining and it was nasty. And he looked at me and he says, here's your modem. You know more about setting this up than I do. I said, this is a business setup. How much time did they allot you for this? He said, hour and a half. And I said, well, if I set it up, it'll take 10 minutes. He says, I've set enough of these up. It takes about 10 minutes. He says, most of the guys don't have a clue how to do it. That's why they give us an hour and a half. I said, I got fresh coffee. I said, look back outside. Where's your next call? And he says, it's an outside line.
Around here?
I said, let me get you a cup of coffee. Go sit down at my desk.
Oh, wow. So it's somebody you knew.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I knew him and I knew his boss. So they were the two guys I worked with when we were setting DSL up at my place in Lee
I'll
Summit.
be darned.
So
what cell service do you have here? Do you have?
I'm on Verizon.
Verizon.
I was with AT&T for years, and they just kept.
Well, when you start talking about AT&T, you know, we got an AT&T tower right here, and it was struck by lightning how many years ago, and they still haven't really ever fixed it.
Yeah, I used to be able to see that AT&T tower at Crescent Hill,
Right,
backyard, and it worked great. And then they flat said they weren't going to fix it.
there was an AT&T technician sitting in the Casey's parking lot, and I talked to him. I said, what is wrong with the AT&T cell service in this town? And he flat said it. He goes, that thing was hit by lightning years ago. They fixed it, and they're not going to fix it. The reason why is it fulfills a little bit of a cell on the highway here, which is all they need. They says they got enough more signal going to the south, enough more going to the north that they don't really need to fix this one. I thought, what a ripoff. All these people around here paying for it, not getting it.
When Verizon came in, because you couldn't get Verizon when I first moved here, the first time. And the only reason I had AT&T because it was the only one that worked where I was out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then Verizon come in and they put a tower in Drexel, and they put a tower at Main City, and they put a tower in Archie. And now the only problem is I have here is in Arizona, I had 5G. There's no 5G in Adrian for.
And by the way, if you see 5GE, that's no better than extended, folks. The old LTE extended. Yeah. Don't be lulled into that.
You don't want them.
No.
Okay. We've done an hour and 15 minutes. 14 minutes and 43 seconds. I think we're going to wind this down.
Okay, Jake's asking. I'm using the mic that the Beach Boys used, Jake, right here. This one. Let me get back in the shot. This microphone right here was used by the Beach Boys. See this? Here we go.
Recording session. They did a
A
recording
recording session of great historical significance here.
Cool.
Yeah, an hour and 15 minutes now, looks like.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll just wind this thing up.
We need to do it again, and I'll be a little more perky. Like I said, I woke up this morning with this, I don't know, kind of a head cold thing going on. I thought, okay, I gotta get feeling a little better here because we're gonna have some fun tonight, and it's just been a grind all day. But
I didn't really plan ahead for tonight.
Well, I didn't either. But next time, we'll promise our listeners we'll plan ahead next time.
We'll pick on somebody.
We will pick on. Yes, we're good at that.
Maybe we'll pick on Nancy.
Yeah. Or anybody else on the list there. There's some, the rest of my family's on there too. Yeah. We can pick on all of them.
Yeah.
They're used
I've
to
got
it.
some we can pick on. We might pick on Kamala Harris.
Oh, yeah. The border czar. Yeah.
Why not?
She's been there once, I think, in her whole tenure. But anyway.
She's not been to the border.
Not been to the border.
She's been to Texas.
So she's never actually been to the border.
She hasn't gone to the
Oh,
border.
well. The good job borders are.
They've been trying. Texas has tried to get her there. Abbott and everybody. Ducey, Arizona has tried to get her there. She might go in California.
Yeah. Or that's her whole stomping ground, isn't it?
Yeah. But
oh, yeah. A good subject for next time for sure.
Yeah, we can pick on somebody about something.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been paying attention to local politics.
I haven't either, and I'm not really paying a lot of attention to news lately.
I've extended an invitation to the sheriff to be on here.
Well, that'd be a good one. That would be a good one.
What we need to do is set him here.
Absolutely.
And then you and I sit.
And we can just put the light right on him,
Yeah, we need a brighter
grill him. Yes.
So
get those answers.
He wouldn't be any fun.
Oh, you never know. He stops by the office every now and then. I think, oh boy, here comes the sheriff. And then, we leave laughing. So yeah, we might try that.
But wait until he walks in laughing and says, by the way, I got a warrant.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past him.
I wouldn't either.
Okay, let's wind this up.
Well, it's been real and it's been fun. And I really like your studio here. I'm jealous. I'd love to come back.
Well, you're more than welcome anytime. Where to go? I'm going to play our theme out of here. And there it goes. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, 7 p.m. on Wednesdays. Come join us, QRAZ Radio 102.7 FM.
QRAZ Radio 102.7 Adrian, Missouri. QRAZ Radio 102.7